Welcome back to the King's Corner North, the place for all things Bethesda. I am the KingFanMan, and if you love Bethesda games and you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe and hit that little bell. Then you'll be notified for about a third of my content. Thanks, YouTube. Today we're going to talk about Fallout 76 and what we can expect after launch as far as content goes. Bethesda Game Studios has already said that the lifeblood of a game like this is going to be how fast they can get content out to us. So just how much content can we expect and how fast will they get it to us? Well, back in the documentary of the making of Fallout 76, this was said.
The plans are still coming together, but we do have a plan. So the plan is to have part of the team sort of support the game, roll out as much content updates as possible to keep the game fresh. I think if you've been around live games, you know that they live or die by how fast you can get updates out. So we need to be able to push decent updates out at a regular rate. At the same time, have some of the team working on big content beats, right? So we want to have some people working on something a little bit larger for people to consume, and have those sort of hit at longer intervals. So if you can sort of imagine it, you have one long beat, which is the larger content updates that are hitting, and then in between that are lots of little beats, which are the frequent updates that we're trying to push out. Whether that just be like new events or just new free items that we give away, we'll just try to keep the game fresh. That's the plan, right? So I guess what's that military adage is like, yeah, every plan is great until the first shot's fired.
Right.
So I imagine we'll have to be doing a lot of adjustments to the plan as soon as it goes live. So I think part of that is you can plan out all the content you want, but then once players start playing the game and you can observe how they play the game, what they like and what they don't like, you need to change the plan based on that stuff. You need to give the players something that they're passionate about. As a designer, you might think that this feature you put into the game is really, really cool and nobody plays it. Well, you probably shouldn't double down on the thing that nobody plays. You should probably double down on the features that the people actually play. So we might have to change our plans based upon how we see players working with the game when they play it.
Okay, before we get into the specifics of what he said, is Bethesda Game Studios suited to give this kind of content? Are they big enough? Are they equipped to support this kind of game? Because this kind of game, they are going to want, as he said, to give content constantly. We're talking about weekly, monthly, quarterly. He was talking about having 2 teams constantly working on this. Well, remember that Bethesda Game Studios has tripled in size since the days of Skyrim. Over tripled. They have almost tripled in size since the days of Fallout 4. They have grown by two full studios. They have a Montreal studio. They now have a full studio in Austin. In fact, Fallout 76 is going to be fully run by the Austin studio. The studio in Montreal and in Maryland, the main studio in Maryland, are going to be working on Starfield while the studio in Austin is working on Fallout 76. So after Fallout 76 launches, it's going to be mainly the Austin studio that is putting out this content. So back to what he said specifically. They are going to split into 2 teams. One team is going to be constantly putting out content on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Now that's exciting because they are going to be giving constant updates. And notice that he said they're going to be watching what players really want. They're going to be watching the fans. Now, if people don't think that Bethesda Game Studios cares what the fans really want. Now, I have said from the beginning that part of what they're doing in delaying this beta has been that they're tweaking the game to what fans have really wanted Fallout 76 to be. And they're going to do the same thing. Pete Hines has said several times that this game is going to be constantly changing. Listen to what Pete Hines said in this interview.
Getting people to embrace, guys, this game is constantly going to be evolving and changing. It's going to change the days and weeks and months after launch all the time, based on player feedback and what people are seeing. It's going to change a lot based on the beta and people playing in the beta. It's going to change a lot in the next month with us playing it internally and continuing to try, okay, now we tried this system a little like this. Okay, now it works like this. Which one feels better? Which one feels worse?
So Bethesda is a developer who cares what their fans want. and they are going to be giving these constant updates and these constant events, these constant free items that the fans really want. So whatever the fans are clamoring for, whatever they're really wanting, that's the area that they're going to be hitting constantly. Now the other team is going to be working on the major projects, the DLCs as we call them. Now how often can we expect these? They're going to be much more often than we saw them in like Fallout 4. Now going back to Fallout 4, they came out pretty quick. If you will remember, I believe we've got all of Fallout 4's DLCs within that first year, didn't we, Wolfman? Mm-hmm. Within that 2015 year, I believe we got all or almost all of the DLCs. But I believe we can get a little bit of clue of how quick the expansions or DLCs, whatever you want to call what's going to come out for Fallout 76, we can get a little bit of clue of how quick they're going to come out by looking at Elder Scrolls Online. Now I know that's not BGS, I know it's ZeniMax, but you can see a little bit of a business model of how they're wanting to run an online multiplayer game. They are now every quarter on the dot putting out a new expansion every quarter. This E3, in fact, they announced the next 2 quarters what the 2 new expansions were. So I believe every quarter, that's every 3 months, there is going to be a huge new DLC. Think about that then. So every week to every 2 weeks to every month at least, there's going to be something pretty good that comes out with the little team, and then every 3 months there's going to be a major DLC that comes out by the bigger team in Austin. That's amazing. That's a lot of content that is going to come out through that one studio for Fallout 76, and that's exciting to me. And if they can pull that off, that is going to allow Fallout 76 to keep living, as they say. As he said, it lives or dies by the content they put out. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is what kind of content are they going to put out on this weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis. So what kind of things can we expect from, let's talk about the little ones first, these small beats that he talked about coming in a weekly, bi-weekly basis. Number one, he talked about events. That kind of keyed me. It just tickled my ear. What is an event? I started thinking about an event, and I had to talk to Wolfman about this, and I was wondering, what is an event? And Wolfman had to talk to the old man to key me in on it. And an event can be like this when it comes around to like wintertime and they make it snow, or it comes around to a holiday and they make the Christmas tree go up. An event is something major like that, or something, I didn't mean to use the word major, but it's an event that happens that they tweak the game a little bit and they cause something to happen. Fall, and they make the leaves fall. They make it happen like in Fallout Shelter. They'll change the skin. When Halloween happens, they'll change the front picture, or they just did it with Fallout Shelter when they made the screaming faces, you know. So that's an event. That's what they're going to. That's one of the little things that they'll do on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. They'll do little things like they'll add a gun, they'll add a weapon, they'll add an outfit. Even little bigger things, they might add a enemy even. These are the little things. Of course, they'll be doing bug fixes and updates like that. Now, the major things, and this is where it gets really exciting when we get into the major DLCs. And of course, we all know what we can expect from single-player games in DLCs. We're talking about new landmasses, new quest lines, major things such as this. And what really excites me about this is where I think Bethesda will really surprise us in the future by putting things like human NPCs in it. I think they're coming. Things like the Enclave will come in there, and major quest lines will come in, because we're talking about a game that they are wanting to last again for years. And again, you can look at a game like ESO and see how they've expanded into new territories and around. And we're in the West Virginia area, you know we're going to go into Washington, D.C., back into the Fallout 3 area, and we're going to see some of that area. So this game is just going to expand and become amazing. So there's a lot of things that you can expect with Fallout 76 in the future, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about the content, because just getting into this conversation will get you so excited thinking about what's going to happen after launch, because it's going to start happening almost immediately. Again, this game is going to be forever changing. You might play it the first week, first month, and go, oh yeah, it's okay. It's going to forever be evolving and changing, and that's what's so exciting about it. Now, I touched on this, but I want to end with this. Some might say, with this being Bethesda Game Studios' first online multiplayer game, that they're not built to handle this kind of venture, that there's no way they can maintain this week by week, monthly, quarterly. They just cannot do it. One studio can't do it. But remember, they have 3 studios. If Austin ever gets behind, Maryland can jump in there, Montreal can jump in there. Plus, I love the way that ZeniMax and Bethesda Softworks works. These studios at times all work together. I'll take you back to Fallout 4. There is a reason that the shooting mechanics in Fallout 4 are so much better than Fallout 3. It is because id worked with Bethesda Game Studios. They worked personally together to make the shooting dynamics work in Fallout 4. So the studios work together. Many times the studios within ZeniMax work together. So you may think, well, Bethesda Game Studios cannot handle it, or the Austin studio can't handle it, but they have 3 studios. And then if they can't handle it, they can always call in some of the other studios from ZeniMax. So yes, I have no fears that they can handle it. I know they can handle it, and if not, they've got plenty of help. They've got plenty of help from within Bethesda Game Studios, 3 developers, and then within the ZeniMax family. I cannot wait to see what happens at launch day, just the content they've already got, but then past that, oh, it's just unlimited what they can do with this game. It's going to be amazing in the months and the years to come to see what Fallout 76, what happens with this game. It's going to be amazing, and I can't wait. Hey, thanks guys for stopping by the King's Corner North. It's been fun as always. If y'all get a chance and if you're able, please stop by my Patreon page. I could sure use the help, and I appreciate it more than you know. And I don't say this enough, I have the best subscribers in all the world. Thank y'all so very much. And again, if you're not subscribed and you've listened this long, why not? Y'all hit that button. And if you don't, you will never, ever, 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 ever play Starfield or Fallout 76. I can make it happen. I can. I am the KingFanMan. I'll see y'all next time.